Hey everybody, it's Glenn, back in this video following my review of the Spider-Man movie figure with the 6-inch Amazing Spider-Man movie series Lizard figure. Plus, look, with reptile sidekicks. I get so wet for random packing figures like that, and the sidekicks also appear on the packaging, which is a nice touch, just giving a less generic feel across the figures. Had these figures came out a year from now, cheapskates Hasbro would probably split that iguana into 3 parts and have it as a builder figure for the series. No joke. So in person, the lizard figure looks way better than I expected it to. Still a bit odd looking in the packaging with the neck, but I assume looking at the picture on the back of the packaging, in package, the neck has just been pushed back to the furthest point of its articulation, which creates a bit of an odd look, but let's open him up and see. Here he is out of package. I'm back, and I say I'm back as I've spent the best part of the last half an hour heating him up with a hairdryer so I can bend his legs into a position where he's actually capable of standing flat on his feet. That said, now I've done it, he does look cool, but believe me, without doing that, he's just standing on the sides of his feet. He does not look good at all. And as I thought with the neck, in the package it was pushed back to the furthest point of articulation, which does make him look a bit odd, but it moves way forward, that joint. Taking a closer look, and yes, he has no snout, and the overall character design of the movie lizard has been hotly debated for months before the release of the movie. Like it or not, we just have to accept that this is the design of the lizard, and after seeing the movie, I'm less bothered by the character design than I was previous to seeing the movie. So to judge the figure fairly, we really just need to compare it to the likeness of the character in the movie. That said, I'm sure the comments below will be flooded with, "Where's his snout? Why is he not wearing purple pants?" Breathe in and breathe out. Move on, people. So the likeness to the movie is pretty good. I love the textured scaly detail of the figure, but probably to be in keeping with as he appears in the movie, he could have done with a bulkier upper body, maybe a bit more broad across the shoulders. And now I'll just bring in Daddy Lizard. The 6-inch figure becomes Mommy Lizard, and here's Baby Lizard. A comparison for you with the Marvel Select figure and the 3 3/4 inch figure, which it shames me to have bought. In fact, when I bought it, I left the toy shop with my head covered by a blanket so nobody recognized me. Cute to have, but I think straight away we can move him out of the equation because he's basically barely even an action figure in my eyes. So let's compare these two. And it pains me to say this as I am a huge Marvel Select fan, but I think Hasbro have outdone Select here. Firstly, the tail on the Select figure is just way too short. When you consider Select is a 7-inch scale line and this is a 6-inch scale figure, the 6-inch figure has the longer tail than the Select version. And in my eyes, the posture of the 6-inch figure is just better. It's just a bit more realism to it, or as realistic as a huge mutated lizard man can look anyway. Compared to the 6-inch movie Spider-Man, I think to be in scale with this figure, the lizard figure would have benefited from being even bigger, really. So not the perfect figure by any means. I do think that the head probably sits a little too high on the neck. But let's go over articulation, as the packaging did trumpet that this was a super articulated action figure, and it's interesting to see how they've packed so much articulation into a figure which doesn't have a standard body by any means. So the head goes side to side, has some up and down. The neck, as I've gone over, moves way back and forwards. I like the hunched posture you can create with that. The shoulder swivels around and moves up and down, has a double jointed elbow. The hands just swivel around. Unfortunately, no up and down articulation on the wrist. It has a diaphragm joint, which you can get a really decent degree of motion out of. I guess that compensates somewhat for the lack of waist articulation. Ball jointed hips, which moves up and down, swivels around at the ball joint hip. Double jointed knee, the ankles move up and down and swivel around. As for the tail, this is also articulated. This is currently at its lowest point, articulated up to its highest point, and this does also swivel around. As I mentioned earlier, he comes with reptile sidekicks. These include what look like an iguana, and then two other guys that I'm not sure of the classification of. If you're a specialist in biology, let me know in the comments below what these two lizards are. And it's nice to know that all those hours the lizard spends in the sewers hearing voices and just generally being mad and mental, he has these guys to keep him company. Ugh. And yeah, it comes with the generic display base, which I'm already sick of seeing, and I've yet to see it in Legends packaging in person, which will really be a true sight of horror for me. Anyway, that completes my review. Please comment, rate and subscribe, and I hope to see you in the next video.